Dark space hung silent around Earth's orbit, yet the warning kept flashing on every screen. Unknown vessels had crossed the outer defense lines. They were not traders. They were not explorers. They came fast, silent, and in attack formation. Humanity had sent no provocation, no challenge. And still, someone had chosen to strike. The command center in Geneva shook with voices. Officers, translators, and scientists crowded the long hall under bright blue lights. They spoke in many languages, but fear sounded the same. Signals from the alien fleet pulsed through the room. Strange symbols appeared on the walls, decoded into sharp messages: yield. Submit. Your planet is now under Galactic Council claim. People had always heard rumors of the Galactic Council, some distant union of alien species keeping order among the stars. No one believed that humans, still young in spaceflight, would be noticed so soon. Yet here it was. A fleet of black ships, each shaped like a knife, blotting out the stars. And their first act was not to talk, but to demand. In the outer system, ships of the International Space Guard scrambled into position. Pilots from 10 nations strapped in, their voices tight, their hands steady. They knew their weapons were old, designed for defense against asteroids or pirates, not for war with a Council of Worlds. Still, they launched. No one wanted to be remembered as the ones who stayed on the ground. A single broadcast from the alien flagship echoed over every human channel. It was not a threat shouted with anger. It was a calm statement, a cold law: submit and survive. Resist and be erased. The voice was metallic, without face or form. It gave exactly 10 minutes for an answer. In homes across Earth, people stopped. Children stared at silent parents. Soldiers stared at their commanders. The clock ticked. Humanity had never felt so small. But even in fear, a spark burned. In the command center, a woman named Dr. Lila Chen, scientist, not soldier, spoke first. Her voice shook, but she did not whisper. They are not here to talk. They are here to test us. If we bow now, we will bow forever. The room went silent. Generals looked at her, then at each other. Data streamed in. The alien fleet outnumbered Earth's defenses 100 to 1. And still, something old and stubborn rose inside the humans. This was their world. No one would take it without a fight. In a small ship near Neptune, Captain Rafael Ortiz watched the alien fleet closing. He remembered his grandmother's stories about old invasions on Earth, how small nations had resisted giants. He felt the same fire now. He keyed the secure channel to Geneva. This is Outrider 1. If they want our sky, they'll pay for it. Back on Earth, the clock reached the last minute. The alien voice repeated its demand, this time sharper, like a blade sliding free of a sheath. A strange hum spread across the world's radios. Power grids flickered. The alien ships were charging weapons. Decision, said one of the generals. Now. In that breath, something happened no one expected. The public channels of Earth lit up, not from the Council, but from its own people. Miners from Mars. Engineers from the Moon. Fishermen from the Pacific. Farmers from Africa. One after another, simple voices spoke the same words. Do not surrender. It was not a command from leaders. It was a plea from humanity itself. Billions of voices, untrained, unarmed, but unbroken. The sound rolled through the command center like thunder. General Ayub Khan raised his head. His eyes were dark, but steady. Transmit our answer. The communications officer's hands hovered above the keys. What should I send, sir? Ayub did not blink. Tell them no. The officer sent the single word. Across space, the alien flagship received it. For a long heartbeat, nothing moved. Then the black ships began to spread out, wings of a predator closing. Energy signatures flared like suns. The first strike was coming. On the bridge of Outrider 1, Captain Ortiz saw the glow forming around the enemy's weapons. He gripped the controls. His ship was small, barely armed, but he had a plan. He switched to tight beam, his voice low. "Geneva, tell everyone, if we're going down, we're taking their eyes first." Dr. Chen watched the tactical display. She saw what Ortiz was trying to do. "He's going for their sensor array," she whispered. "He's trying to blind them." "Will it work?" someone asked. "I don't know," she said. "But it's the only shot we have." The alien countdown reached 0. Space lit up. Beams of white fire cut across the dark. Human ships scattered. One by one, Outrider systems screamed warnings. Ortiz slammed a hand on manual override and dove straight into the nearest alien cruiser. In the command center, everyone watched the feed go static. For a heartbeat, it looked like humanity's first defense had failed. But then the main screen flickered. Alien targeting grids broke apart, their signals jamming, their formations twisting in confusion. "They're blind," Dr. Chen said, her eyes wide. "He did it." For the first time that day, the room felt a breath of hope. It was small, fragile, but real. Humanity had been attacked. Humanity had said no. And one small ship had just proved that the giants of the galaxy could bleed. Yet no one knew what the Council would do next. In deep space, the black ships regrouped, angry and confused. A new signal formed, darker than before. This was only the beginning. The alien fleet hung in silence after the failed strike. The stars behind them flickered like cold fires. In the shadow of Neptune, wreckage from Outrider 1 drifted, glowing faintly. Every screen on Earth showed the same frozen image. Black ships twisting, their targeting systems blind. Humanity had survived the first blow. But everyone knew it would not be the last. In Geneva's command center, Dr. Lila Chen stood over the console. She stared at the last burst of data from Captain Ortiz's ship. It was a single, short code, fight. That was all. No farewell. No complaint. Just a command. Around her, officers worked in near silence. Their faces were pale, but their hands steady. General Ayub Khan turned to her. "We have hours, maybe less, before they adapt. How do we stop them next time?" "They will scan our defenses again," Chen said softly. "This time they'll be ready for our tricks. We need to move faster than they can think." Messages poured in from the Moon, Mars, and every orbital platform. Engineers volunteered. Pilots demanded new orders. Even civilians sent plans for weapons made from mining tools and freighters. Humanity had never been so united. Fear had burned away the walls between nations. In orbit, the first debris from Outrider 1 was collected by a small tug. Among the shards, they found the ship's black box intact. Its signal was weak, but still beating. Inside was Ortiz's last recording. The tug's crew sent it straight to Earth. On every major broadcast, people heard his voice one more time. "If they want a war," Ortiz said, "then they'll learn what war with humans feels like." The sound of his voice lit a new fire. Recruitment for the Space Guard tripled in a single hour. Mechanics tore apart old orbital weapons, welding new parts in zero gravity. Students built code to jam alien sensors. Farmers donated fuel, miners donated metals, doctors prepared for casualties. It was messy, unplanned, but alive. High above Earth, on a secret platform called Horizon Station, something even stranger was happening. This station was never meant for combat. It was a research outpost studying alien signals years before the invasion. Its lead scientist, Dr. Kareem Das, had once intercepted a fragment of Council code, a strange frequency that made no sense. Now, under the pressure of war, he saw it again in the enemy transmissions. It wasn't just noise. It was a command protocol. If Kareem was right, then the Council's fleet might not be fully autonomous. It might be controlled through this protocol from a single node. A brain, somewhere among those ships. If humans could find it, they might strike at the heart. He sent a secure message to Geneva. "I can trace their command signal," he wrote. "But I need time, and I need access to every satellite you have." General Khan read the message and gave the order at once. All non-critical systems shut down. Every eye in space turned toward the alien fleet. Meanwhile, the Council's flagship opened its own transmission. This time there was no calm voice. It was sharp and cold. "You have chosen resistance. You have broken Council law. We will cleanse your world." On the screens, alien ships shifted into a new pattern, a ring formation, surrounding Earth from afar. Their energy signatures spiked. This was not a test. This was extermination. Inside the command center, alarms flashed red. People looked at Khan. "Sir, do we launch the planetary shields?" "Not yet," Khan said. His eyes were fixed on Dr. Chen. "We wait for Horizon Station. If DOS can't find their brain, our shields won't matter." Up on Horizon, Kareem worked without sleep. He fed the alien signals into old Earth computers, into new quantum arrays, into anything he could find. Patterns emerged like ghosts. One ship at the edge of the ring pulsed slightly off rhythm. Its signals lagged by a fraction of a second. It was subtle, but there. "That's it," he whispered. "That's the controller." He sent coordinates to Geneva. The room erupted. The brain ship was deep inside the fleet, heavily protected. To hit it, someone would have to break through. Pilots volunteered instantly. Names scrolled down the screen. Men, women, even some who had never flown in combat. Khan raised a hand. "This is not a suicide charge. We need a strike team with the best chance." Dr. Chen spoke up. "We don't need a battleship. We need a ghost. A ship small enough to slip through while the fleet fires on something else." Khan nodded slowly. "A decoy and a dagger." He opened a channel to every human vessel. "Prepare for Operation Glass Fong," he said. "We draw them out, and we cut their brain." In the hours that followed, human forces gathered for their first true offensive. Old freighters were loaded with explosives and remote controls to act as decoys. Small scout ships were fitted with stealth plating and new jammers built by students overnight. Every pilot knew the risk. None backed out. On the dark edge of space, the alien fleet began to close its ring. The countdown to annihilation had started. Earth's skies glowed with launches as dozens of craft rose at once. People on the ground looked up and cheered, not with joy but with fury. Dr. Chen stood by the main screen. Her hands shook but her voice was steady. "This is for Outrider 1, she said quietly. General Khan gave the signal. The first decoy ships shot forward, blazing like comets. Alien weapons locked onto them, beams of white fire tearing through the dark. Behind the flash and wreckage, a single small craft slipped through the gap, invisible on alien sensors. Inside that craft, a young pilot named Asha Reyes gripped the controls. She had been a student 2 weeks ago. Now she was the dagger aimed at the heart of the Council. Her voice was calm as she whispered into her mic. "Going dark now. See you on the other side." The alien fleet shifted, unaware. Humanity's first counterstrike had begun. The small craft carrying Asha Reyes glided between black alien hulls. Around her, the void burned with white beams as decoy freighters exploded one by one. Each blast shook the sensors, giving her a heartbeat of darkness to slip forward. Her ship was so small that the alien fire washed past it without notice. She was inside the ring now, moving toward the brain ship. Back on Horizon Station, Dr. Kareem Das tracked her signal. His screen showed a blinking dot crawling across a storm of enemy data. He whispered to himself, as if his voice could guide her. "Steady, steady." In Geneva, General Khan stood like stone. Around him, technicians counted down decoys. Each loss was another volunteer gone, another flash of light over Neptune. Dr. Chen clenched her fists. She knew this mission had almost no chance, but still she watched. Inside the stealth craft, Asha's breathing was slow. She thought of her parents on Earth, of Ortiz's last message. She felt no hero's pride, only a strange calm. The alien ships loomed around her, their hulls covered with glowing lines like veins. They pulsed in time with the strange command signal. She was getting close. Suddenly the cockpit lights flickered. A low hum rose through the hull. Asha's stealth field was cracking. The aliens had detected something out of place. Their ships shifted, patterns changing. She dove lower, skimming along the belly of a cruiser, engines on silent burn. On her screen, a symbol flashed. Lock. They see me, she whispered. In Geneva, alarms screamed. Kareem's voice cut through. She's losing cover. We need another distraction. Khan turned to Dr. Chen. Anything left? She stared at the map. Only one asset remained, Horizon Station itself, a giant research platform armed with nothing but antennas. She knew what it meant. If we light up Horizon, they'll see it. They'll fire on it, Khan said. Can it survive? No, Chen answered. But it will give her 30 seconds. Khan nodded once. Do it. Up on Horizon Station, Kareem heard the order. He did not hesitate. He keyed the full power transmission and aimed it straight at the alien fleet. The station blazed like a sun of noise, jamming every sensor in range. On the alien screens, the signal was a flare. They turned their weapons toward it at once. Inside her craft, Asha felt the lock vanish. Space opened before her like a corridor. She punched the engines and streaked toward the brain ship. The alien hull rose up, black and vast. She saw no windows, only a single glowing sphere pulsing like a heart. That's it, Kareem breathed. That's the node. Asha armed the warhead strapped under her craft. It was small, crude, but designed to pierce and overload alien energy cores. She dove straight at the glowing sphere. Then, without warning, a voice filled her cockpit. It was not human. It was deep and soft, almost sad. You should not be here, it said. This is not your war. Asha froze. What? The voice spoke again. Leave now. You do not understand what you fight. In Geneva, the audio played through every speaker. People stared at each other. Dr. Chen whispered. They're talking to her. Asha's hands shook. You invaded my world, she said. You killed my friends. Tell me why. The voice paused. Your species is dangerous. You grow without control. The Council moves first to prevent greater loss later. Then you've already lost, Asha said quietly. Because we don't bow. She cut the channel and drove the craft straight at the sphere. At the last second she triggered the warhead and ejected. The blast was silent in space but so bright that Horizon's cameras flared white. The brain ship shuddered, its glowing lines flickering, its command signal breaking apart. Across the fleet, alien ships jerked out of formation. Some drifted, some spun, their weapons going dark. The ring collapsed. For the first time, the Council's fleet looked disordered. Asha's escape pod tumbled away from the wreckage. Her oxygen gauge blinked red. She floated, weightless, watching the giant ship crack open like an egg. She felt no triumph, only exhaustion. Back on Horizon, Kareem watched the data roll in. She did it, he whispered. She cut the brain. In Geneva, cheers erupted. People hugged, cried, shouted. Dr. Chen wiped her eyes. We're still alive, she said. For now. General Khan did not smile. He stared at the alien fleet still drifting out there. This is not over, he said quietly. They'll send more. On the alien flagship, deep inside its dark core, the voice that had spoken to Asha whispered a new order. Somewhere beyond the edge of the system, other ships began to move. Bigger ships. Older ships. The Council was not done. In her pod, Asha floated alone. Her calm crackled. It was Dr. Chen's voice. Hold on, Asha. We're coming for you. A faint smile touched Asha's lips. Tell Earth, she whispered. We're not prey. The stars around her were no longer silent. They were waiting. Something vast was coming. Debris from the brain ship drifted like black ice across the void. The alien fleet hung broken, their neat formations gone, their weapons dim. For a moment, it looked as if the danger had passed. But everyone in Geneva knew better. The council was vast. This was only one fleet. On Horizon Station, Kareem Doss stared at his failing instruments. The station had taken several hits from alien fire after its jamming burst. Whole sections were dark. Smoke drifted in zero-gravity corridors. Yet he stayed at his console, relaying what data he could before the next wave came. Down on Earth, people poured into the streets to watch the sky. Dozens of points of light burned across the night, human ships returning, rescue craft rising, emergency launches lifting off. Screens in every city replayed the moment Asha Reyes struck the brain ship. Her face, young and calm inside the cockpit, became a symbol. Children held up signs, "We are not prey." Inside the command center, Dr. Lila Chen stood shoulder to shoulder with General Khan. Relief showed in their eyes but not in their posture. They had already seen the new signals. At the edge of the solar system, something bigger was moving. Massive energy signatures, like mountains sliding underwater, creeping toward the inner planets. Khan pointed at the screen. "This is a second wave?" "Not a wave," Kareem's voice crackled from Horizon's damaged line. "Something older. Heavier. It's not a fleet. It's a fortress." Data flickered on the main display. A single gigantic shape, too large to be a normal ship, crawled toward them at sublight speed. Its outline was blurred, but its energy readings were clear. This was a Council dread engine, a mobile city of war, built to erase whole worlds. "It will reach us in 36 hours, Kareem said. "And it won't care that we blinded the fleet. It will burn everything." Silence fell across the room. For the first time, even Khan's hands tightened on the edge of the table. They had just survived a knife fight. Now a hammer was coming down. Dr. Chen spoke first. "We can't stop that with missiles. We don't have a weapon that big." "Then we build one," Khan said. "Or find one." Messages flooded in from colonies. Mars offered its mass drivers. The Moon offered its old fusion charges. Private corporations opened sealed vaults of experimental tech. But nothing on the list could break a dread engine. Humanity was clever, but it had been small for so long. Now it needed something different. While the leaders argued, a faint transmission cut across every channel. It was Asha Reyes. Her escape pod had been recovered by a scout ship. Her voice was weak but steady. "We don't have to fight it head-on," she said. "We just need to stop it from reaching Earth." Khan leaned toward the mic. "How?" Asha coughed. "The dread engine runs on a gravity drive. If we overload the mass around it, make a trap of gravity wells, it will tear itself apart trying to stabilize." Chen's eyes widened. "We'd need hundreds of objects, asteroids, drones, anything, set in the right pattern. A net." "Then we build a net," Khan said. Thus began Operation Iron Web. Every tug, freighter and shuttle that could move rock was ordered to the Kuiper Belt. Miners detonated charges to break apart large asteroids. Pilots towed them like beads on a string. Students wrote code to synchronize drones. It was chaos, but it moved fast. Humanity was building a trap in the dark. On Horizon Station, Kareem directed the pattern. His hands shook with exhaustion, but he refused to leave. "Closer," he muttered. "We need the wells closer." Alien scouts probed the net, small black darts slipping through the void. Human fighters chased them, dogfights flashing among ice and dust. Losses mounted, but the web grew. Meanwhile, deep inside the dread engine, the same voice that had spoken to Asha watched the trap form. It was no single being but a council intelligence older than any human nation. It did not feel anger, but it did feel curiosity. These young primates were moving like predators now, not prey. It sent a new signal, low and strange, across the void. Kareem's instruments caught it but could not decode it. Dr. Chen listened, a chill running down her back. "It's laughing," she whispered. 36 hours shrank to 20, then to 12. The iron web neared completion, a huge invisible lattice of mass and gravity hidden among the stars. Every human ship was part of it. They had no single weapon, only a plan: lure the dread engine into the heart of the net, then collapse it. Khan stood before the main display. "Once it's in," he said quietly, "there's no way out. For them, or for us." Dr. Chen nodded. "Everyone in the web knows the risk." At the edge of the system, the dread engine loomed, bigger than a moon, its surface alive with moving lights. It swallowed its own broken fleet as it passed, absorbing what remained of the Council ships. Its gravity drive pulsed like a heartbeat you could feel in your teeth. In the darkness between stars, the iron web waited. Human ships floated silent, their engines cold, hiding among rocks and ice. Pilots whispered final messages to their families. Miners clutched lucky charms. Students watched their code tick down to 0. Dr. Chen stood at the command table, hands trembling, voice low. "This is it." General Khan gave the order. "Activate the web." Thousands of small charges fired. Asteroids shifted, drones lit, gravity fields rippled. Space itself bent like a net closing on a beast. The dread engine glided into the trap without slowing. Lights ran across its hull, sensing something wrong. It tried to turn. Too late. In every hidden ship, humans held their breath. The giant slowed, shuddering against the false gravity wells. Its drive roared, trying to break free. Space rippled, stars warped. "This is going to work," Kareem whispered. Then, on the screens, a new light appeared inside the dread engine. A sphere of pure white, growing. Dr. Chen's face went pale. "It's not trying to escape," she said. "It's charging something." The white sphere swelled, brighter than any sun. Alarms screamed. The trap was set, but the beast inside was about to do something no one had predicted. Inside the net of asteroids and drones, space rippled like water. The dread engine had stopped moving forward. Instead of breaking apart under the gravity trap, it was gathering light into a single white sphere at its core. The glow swelled until cameras on the human ships blurred out. Every alarm in Geneva screamed at once. On Horizon Station, Kareem Doss watched his readouts jump off the scale. "It's creating a singularity," he whispered. "A miniature star or a weapon, maybe both." In the command center on Earth, Dr. Lila Chen felt her mouth go dry. "If it fires that inside the web," she didn't finish. Everyone in the room knew. The whole trap would collapse, and with it every ship hidden among the rocks. General Khan gripped the table. "Options. None we planned for," Chen said. "Our mass net holds it but also keeps us close. If that thing explodes, we're in the blast." On the edge of the trap, hundreds of human pilots waited for orders. Their radios hissed with static from the dread engine's rising energy. Many whispered prayers. Others grinned like wolves. They had expected to die anyway. In her medbed aboard a rescue ship, Asha Reyes forced herself upright. Tubes and monitors clung to her arms. She'd been watching the feed the whole time. "You can overload it," she croaked into the mic. "Push the wells tighter. Force it to burn more power. It can't stabilize forever." Kareem heard her. His tired eyes sharpened. "She's right. We can turn the net into a vice." "But the vice will crush us too," Chen warned. Khan didn't blink. "Do it." Everyone in the web knew the risk. Orders flashed through encrypted channels. All drones and tugs powered up, pulling their rocks closer, collapsing the pattern inward. Gravity surged. The dread engine's hull groaned, lights flickering like a dying sun. The white sphere at its heart pulsed faster, brighter, wild. Inside one of the hidden ships, a miner named Mateo cursed softly. "Hold it together," he muttered, pushing his tug's thrusters until the frame rattled. Around him, other small craft did the same, weaving the web tighter. Back in Geneva, Chin watched her screen. Field integrity at 90, 80, 70%. Kareem adjusted calculations on the fly, his fingers shaking. It's working. Its drive is destabilizing. Then the alien voice returned, echoing across every channel, deeper and more human than before. You do not understand what you do. Stop and survive. Khan stared at the speaker. We understand enough, he said quietly. We understand freedom. The dread engine's lights flared in answer. A second pulse of gravity slammed through the trap, knocking drones out of alignment, shattering a dozen tugs. Human ships spun, some vanishing into the void. Chin clutched the console. We're losing the pattern. Asha's weak voice cut in. Then use me. Everyone turned toward the feed. She was already out of her medbed, dragging herself toward a launch bay. I still have my escape pod. Load it with a core charge. I can steer it right into that sphere. No, Chin said sharply. We're not sacrificing you again. Asha gave a faint smile. This time I'm not alone. You've taught them how to fight. Let me finish it. Khan closed his eyes for a heartbeat, then opened them. Prepare the charge. Minutes later, a tiny pod shot from the rescue ship, glinting silver against the white glare. Inside, Asha guided it like a bullet between drifting wrecks. Static hissed in her ears. She ignored it. She aimed for the heart of the dread engine. In Geneva, no one spoke. Kareem's lips moved soundlessly as he calculated. Chen's hands shook, but she kept the feed live. Khan stood like a statue. The pod slipped through the last gap in the web. The dread engine loomed ahead, a black mountain wrapped around a star. Asha's voice was calm. For Ortiz. For Horizon. For all of us. She armed the core charge and drove straight into the light. The screen went white. For a heartbeat, there was no sound. Then every sensor in the system spiked at once. The dread engine convulsed, its gravity drive collapsing inward. The white sphere imploded, then exploded outward in a ripple that bent space itself. Rocks shattered, drones vanished, human ships were hurled away like leaves in a storm. On Horizon Station, Kareem clung to his console as alarms howled. The drive collapsed, he shouted. It's tearing itself apart. Across the void, the dread engine's massive hull cracked, sections folding into nothingness. The lights on its surface went dark one by one. The voice cut off mid-word. Then, slowly, the giant vanished into a cloud of fading particles. Silence returned to the net. Broken ships drifted, their lights blinking weakly. Gravity steadied. Stars came back into focus. Dr. Chen sagged against the table. Is it over? Kareem's voice was hoarse. The dread engine is gone. Nothing left. No one cheered. Too many were lost. But in every surviving craft, a quiet certainty grew. They had done the impossible again. They had stopped a fortress with nothing but courage, scrap metal, and will. Khan looked up at the main screen, at the empty place where the dread engine had been. Signal all ships. Begin rescue. Find Reyes. Static answered. Somewhere in the debris field, a faint beacon pulsed, an escape pod drifting, its power low but alive. Chen's eyes filled with tears. We've got her. Outside, the stars burned cold and distant. But for the first time, humanity no longer felt small beneath them. They had drawn blood from the Council twice. And far beyond the edge of the system, in the dark between galaxies, others were listening. Space slowly calmed after the dread engine died. Human ships limped back toward the inner planets, hulls scorched and engines weak. Rescue crews pulled survivors from drifting pods. The beacon from Asha Reyes's pod was weak but steady. They brought her aboard a medical craft. She was alive, though pale and thin, eyes still fixed on the stars. On Earth, the images of the broken fortress and Asha's last dive spread like wildfire. People cheered, cried, sang. Yet under the celebration ran a single question. What will the council do next? In Geneva, General Khan and Dr. Lila Chen studied silent screens. No new signals, no more fleets. For the first time since the invasion began, space looked empty. But Chen did not relax. They are not finished, she said softly. They're waiting. Kareem Das, patched up from Horizon Station's collapse, walked into the room carrying a cracked data drive. We found something in the Dread Engine's last transmission, he said. Coordinates. Coordinates to what? Khan asked. Kareem plugged the drive in. A star map appeared, zooming to a single point far beyond Pluto. A planet the Council calls Vela. It sent an automatic warning to it before it died. Chin frowned. Why would a warship send a warning to a planet? I don't know, Kareem said, but the signal's tone was different. Almost like a plea. Khan stared at the map. If it's a base, we can't leave it. If it's a weapon, we need to know. Assemble a scout team. Within hours, a small task force was ready. 2 stealth corvettes, a handful of fighters, and 1 science vessel. Asha Reyes, still weak, insisted on going. I've already seen what they do, she told Khan. I'm not sitting out now. He tried to refuse, but she only looked at him until he relented. The ships left under a silent sky, engines dim, slipping past the orbit of Neptune into deep dark. Days passed without incident. Then Vela rose on their screens, a gray world circling a dead star, its thin clouds tinted green, its surface cracked like old stone. Scanning, Kareem said from the science vessel. No active power signatures. Atmosphere thin but breathable with filters. No orbiting defenses. Asha stared at the planet through the viewport. Looks dead. The corvettes descended through sickly clouds, landing on a plain of black sand. Dust swirled around their boots as the crew stepped out. Jagged towers rose from the horizon, made of metal and bone. The air smelled faintly of ozone and ash. City, Chen said, walking carefully. But no people. They moved through silent streets, their footsteps echoing. Statues lined the avenues, not of heroes but of prisoners, tall thin aliens with downcast eyes. Some crumbled to dust when touched. Others still hummed faintly with old energy. Kareem knelt beside one, scanning it. These aren't statues. They're shells. Like bodies frozen in some field. Asha's skin prickled. This is a graveyard. Inside the tallest tower, they found a hall of crystal pillars. Symbols ran across them in faint light. Kareem traced them with his glove. It's council script, he said. Older than any we've seen. It speaks of judgment, control, cleansing. Chin walked to the center, where a round dais stood. A single orb floated above it, glowing weakly. This is what sent the signal, she murmured. As she reached out, the orb flared and a projection filled the hall. Not a threat, but a memory. Images of ships, wars, burning worlds, then the same dread engine they had just destroyed. A voice whispered, the same voice Asha had heard in her cockpit. We were not always hunters, it said. We were protectors. We built prisons for those who threatened the balance. We became jailers. We forgot why. The images shifted to show a world like Earth, green and blue, then turned gray as machines covered it. This place, the voice said, was a prison, the worst of our own. We buried our ghosts here. The projection flickered. You freed yourselves, it whispered. Will you free them? The orb dimmed and went dark. The humans stood in silence. Outside the tower, the wind moaned through empty streets. Chen's hands shook. It's not a base. It's a warning. Kareem stared at the dead city. If the council built prisons for its own, maybe what we fought wasn't just a fleet. Maybe it was something they feared would escape. Asha looked up at the dark sky. Then why attack us? No one answered. In the distance, a low tremor rolled through the ground. Dust fell from the tower ceilings. Instruments beeped. Kareem checked his scanner. Something is waking up, he said. On the horizon, shapes began to move, tall thin figures, stepping out of broken shells, eyes glowing faint green. They were not fully solid, not fully alive. Ghosts of whatever the council had buried here, walking toward the human team. Asha tightened her grip on her rifle. We need to leave. Now. The figures did not run, did not raise weapons. They only walked, silent and slow, like shadows rising from long sleep. Chen's voice trembled. We may have opened a door we can't close. Above the planet, the human corvettes powered up their engines, ready for extraction. But the tremor grew stronger, and deep under the cracked earth something vast began to pulse. Not council technology, but something older. For the first time, Khan's voice over the radio sounded shaken. Team, get back to the ships. Whatever's down there, it's not dead. The wind howled through the alien city. The statues cracked open one by one. And in the dark between stars, unseen, the council listened. Dust and ash swirled as the tall thin shapes came closer. Their bodies flickered between solid and light, like shadows struggling to be real. Green eyes glowed faintly in the mist. The ground trembled under their slow steps. No one on the human team fired. Everyone just backed toward the waiting shuttles. General Khan's voice cut across the radio from orbit. Team, you have 90 seconds. Get out of there. Asha Reyes gripped her rifle but didn't raise it. They're not attacking, she whispered. They're watching us. Dr. Lila Chen's scanner beeped wildly. They're radiating low-level energy. Not weapons. More like signals. Communication. The first figure stopped a few meters away. It tilted its head, studying the humans. When it spoke, the voice was not sound but a vibration in the bones, a deep echo. Who calls us awake? Kareem Doss swallowed hard. We didn't mean to wake you, he said slowly. We came to learn. Another figure stepped forward. Its outline shifted, showing hints of different alien forms, as if many beings were layered inside it. We were prisoners, it said. Bound by the council for crimes we never knew. The team exchanged stunned looks. Chen's voice trembled. Crimes. Thought. The figure answered. We built, we questioned, we changed. They feared us. So they sealed us in stone. Asha took a step closer, ignoring Khan's warning. Why did they attack us? Why send their fleets? They see themselves in you, the figure said simply. They feared you would become us. Under the cracked earth, the deep pulse grew stronger. The whole city vibrated like a drum. Ghost light ran along the statues and towers. The thin figures turned their heads toward the ground. Our cage breaks, they whispered. We will rise again. Kareem hissed into his mic. General, whatever's down here is about to breach the surface. Then move, Khan barked. Now. The humans turned and ran for the shuttles. The figures did not follow. They only watched, eyes like lanterns. As Asha climbed the ramp she looked back one last time. One of the beings raised a long hand. Not in threat. In farewell. Moments later the shuttles roared upward through the green clouds. Below, the towers cracked and fell as something vast stirred beneath. The planet's thin atmosphere screamed with wind. From orbit, the corvettes watched Vela's surface ripple like water. On the bridge, Khan's jaw tightened. Report. Kareem's voice came over the link. Readings off the charts. Energy release from the planet's core. Something is coming out. The screen filled with a new image. From the center of the dead city, a column of light shot into the sky. Inside it, shapes moved, not ships, not creatures, but streams of data and memory, like entire minds set free. The column burst through the clouds and into space, scattering like fireflies. What are we seeing? Chin whispered. They're leaving, Kareem said. Not bodies, consciousness. They're escaping their prison. As the streams of light spread, the alien council's silent channels erupted. Dozens of new signals flashed across the stars. The council had noticed. and it was afraid. Khan watched the readouts with a grim expression. They'll blame us for this. Maybe, Asha said quietly from her seat. But maybe they'll also see what we've done and think twice. The corvettes broke orbit, engines hot. Behind them, Vela's surface cracked open like an eggshell. The statues collapsed. The city vanished into a deep chasm. Only the green wind remained, whispering over empty stone. Back aboard the science vessel, Chin leaned over the console. If these were the Council's ghosts, their thinkers, their rebels, then we've just unleashed something older and smarter than their rulers. Kareem nodded slowly. And they know we helped. Asha stared out the viewport. In the distance, faint threads of light curved away into deep space, heading for unknown destinations. We didn't just fight back, she murmured. We woke up the galaxy. Khan's voice softened for the first time in days. Then it's begun. No one spoke. Outside the windows, the stars looked different now, sharper, brighter, as if watching. Somewhere out there, the freed minds of Vela were moving. Somewhere out there, the Council's fleets were regrouping. And somewhere deep inside, humanity's own resolve hardened. For the first time, the humans on the bridge did not feel like survivors waiting for the next blow. They felt like a force rising. Chen's hands rested on the console. We've changed the story, she said quietly. They attacked prey. Now they face something else. The ship's engines hummed as the task force turned for home. Far behind them, the planet of ghosts spun silently around its dead star. From its cracked surface rose one last, faint pulse, a signal too old to decode, drifting outward like a whisper. Asha closed her eyes. When humanity wakes, she said softly, the stars will shake. The ship vanished into the dark, leaving the empty planet behind. Ahead lay Earth, the Council, and a future no one could yet imagine.